In one of Aesop's oldest fables, a hungry fox spots a cluster of plump, ripe grapes hanging high on a vine. In that initial moment, his intent is perfectly clear. He is fixated on the fruit, and he wants it. He gathers his strength and leaps. He misses. He paces, adjusts his footing, and tries again. He jumps a third time, a fourth time. Each effort ends exactly the same way, until his legs give out and he is forced to walk away entirely empty-handed. But the fox doesn't just walk away in silence. He mutters to himself that he never really wanted them anyway, that the grapes were probably sour. Psychology calls this specific reaction rationalization. It is the act of interpreting a painful reality in a way that makes it easier to tolerate. The fox hasn't changed the physical location of the grapes, nor has he solved his hunger. By deciding the prize was worthless, he has merely constructed a temporary shield to protect his ego from the sting of his own physical limitations. We replicate this exact behavior every day. You apply for a job, get rejected, and immediately tell your friends the salary was too low to consider anyway. A colleague gets a promotion over you, and you decide you wouldn't want the stress of management. A romantic partner leaves, and you convince yourself they were toxic from the start. We craft these narratives to avoid looking directly at the emotions sitting right beneath the surface. Rejection hurts. It triggers a quiet but intense shame, a creeping sense of inadequacy, and the deep-seated fear that we might simply be inferior to the people around us. Defending yourself by attacking the goal you missed doesn't resolve those feelings. It acts as a cognitive bandage. It covers up the wound of self-doubt without doing any of the actual work required to heal it, which forces us to ask a difficult question about how we handle our own setbacks. The instinct to comfort ourselves after a failure is entirely natural, but that exact comfort might be the precise mechanism keeping us stuck in place. By lying to ourselves about what we truly want, we eliminate the need to improve. Relying on self-deception to survive failure creates an invisible barrier that blocks our own capacity to grow. To dismantle this habit, we can look to the ancient Stoics, specifically the philosopher Epictetus. He built an entire cognitive framework around breaking down the mind's automatic, self-soothing excuses. The core of this Stoic practice is a strict, ruthless operation, separating the objective facts of a situation from the subjective judgments we instinctively attach. If we apply this diagram to Aesop's fable, the event breaks into two completely different paths. The fact is simply, I jumped and I did not reach the grapes. The judgment is the chaotic story we invent. I am a failure, or the grapes are terrible. Stoicism demands we recognize our locus of control. The facts of the world, the height of the branch, the decisions of a hiring manager, the feelings of a romantic partner are often outside our control. The only space we command is our internal response and the actions we take next. When we fail, the circumstances themselves rarely cause our prolonged suffering. The pain comes entirely from the punishing, unexamined judgments we choose to invent about those circumstances. Buddhist philosophy addresses this same human flaw from a different angle, looking specifically at why wanting the grapes causes so much pain to begin with. In this view, having a desire is not the problem. The danger lies in the invisible thread of attachment, the absolute demand that you must obtain a specific goal to be happy. There is a sharp distinction here. Ambition is moving toward a target with focus and energy. Attachment is becoming a hostage to the outcome, where your entire self collapses if you miss. When Buddhist texts discuss the concept of letting go, they aren't ever suggesting you abandon your goals or stop trying. Letting go means acknowledging your desire for the grapes, while refusing to let the acquisition of them dictate your worth as a person. Decoupling your intrinsic value from your external successes and failures neutralizes the urge to make excuses. It is the only sustainable way to escape the trap of the sour grapes. If we take these two philosophies and apply them, we can write an alternate ending to Aesop's ancient story. We can imagine a mature fox who takes a very different path after his final, failed jump. Instead of walking away and insulting the fruit, this fox stops. He admits out loud that he desperately wanted the grapes. He acknowledges the physical frustration of his current limitations, and he refuses to pretend the prize has lost its value. Because he allows himself a moment of radical vulnerability, his mind isn't wasting energy protecting his ego. Instead, he can immediately pivot to actual problem solving. He can look for a rock to stand on, a branch to climb, or a different food source altogether. He can adapt. A brutally honest confrontation with our own limitations, without the buffer of an excuse, is the absolute prerequisite for achieving anything difficult later on. When you face your next inevitable rejection, you can process it by running it through a precise diagnostic framework. First, ask, did I actually want this, or is my pride just hurt? Then, am I feeling rejected or embarrassed? Third, what is still in my control? And finally, who am I if I drop this obsession? Declaring a missed opportunity sour offers 5 minutes of shallow relief. Radical self-honesty offers structural, long-lasting freedom. It clears away the noise and shows you exactly where you need to improve. A successful life is not built by acquiring every single thing you aim for. It is built by mastering your emotional relationship with the things you fail to obtain. The moment you can look at an unreached goal and quietly admit, I wanted it, I didn't get it, and I will be okay, you destroy the mechanism of self-deception. And that is exactly where a genuinely resilient life begins.